So I just got done watching Netflix's live action adaptation of One Piece, and I have some thoughts. I don't think something sends a shiver down an anime or manga fan's spine as the word live action. Because let's be honest, when it comes to live action, there's some are okay, I've heard. And then some that I've seen, man, it's a bummer. You know what I mean? Like, ew, oof. And after watching just the first trailer of the Netflix live action adaptation, you kind of temper your expectations. We just lived through the Cowboy Bebop of it all. So I saw how bad it could go. And so when I started up that first episode, I think our brains immediately want to nitpick stuff. And while there are some things, it's a stretchy man stretches. Listen, you can only get so realistic with it. But I think the great thing, and I think what they leaned so hard into, is this is a fun adventure. It feels like, honestly, you're watching a storybook to where the world doesn't feel real. Surprise, surprise. It's fiction. And I think that was such a smart move to lean heavily in that, even to the effect, it's a small effect, but I absolutely loved it when their wanted posters come up and then like they either cut through it. I think Don Krieg just like crumbled it up. It kind of breaks that fourth wall where, hey, it's not supposed to be realistic. This is not a gritty adaptation of One Piece. That wouldn't work. So there definitely had to be some condensing and some changes. I think that's going to happen with any adaptation. Because also, and this, I'm just talking for me, I completely understand, if there's people like, I want the manga panel or anime scenes adapted with real people with some effects on the screen. Okay, I get it. This is not going to be for you then, probably. But when I look at an adaptation, or what I want out of an adaptation, is the heart of it. And I think this is where it shines, man. Now, whether you agree or disagree with the condensing of everything, it's a personal choice. Hey, guess what? You can have your opinion. That's great. But I didn't mind the changes that they made. What they had to do in this first season is kind of put you in this world, introduce you to these Straw Hats, and build this crew. That's what I think the first season was designed to do, and I think it absolutely nailed it. I think that's the reason that it makes it one of the greatest pieces of fiction that I enjoy. Because while I don't think, the characters are perfect, right? All of them grew on me by the end of it. I think by the culmination of episode 8, where you see them all battle with each other, and the Zoro Zanji stuff, I always been a fan of it, and I think that they nailed that demeanor. And when they put the foot on the barrel and they say all their stuff and they start their adventure on the Grand Line, you feel like you have watched this crew form. And I think 3 of the standouts, man, I loved these 3. I think the actor playing Sanji nails it. I think he nails it. I think the actor for Luffy, you start to see the vision. You know what I mean? By the end of it, you're like, oh, I get it. I get why they cast him. I get why he was put into this show. Because to be surrounded by this cast of characters, every time he is on screen, you see his goofiness, his heart, his love. You understand, I think, why these people would follow him. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think he's going to have his Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man moment if they get a season 2. Because if you watched any TV show, whatever it may be, the one that comes to my mind is kind of like Breaking Bad. The first season is always kind of the most rockiest, or what people might consider the slowest, because they have to introduce you to all these things. So I really do hope that they get a season 2 and they don't have to build up this stuff. Now they can kind of just really focus on the story that they want to tell. And the smoker tease at the end, spoilers, I guess, but we know where it's going. Listen, it's not really spoilers. You can read it. It's been out for like 15 years. Is there really a spoiler in this review? You know what I mean? But he was such a joy to watch as Luffy, man. I really liked him, and I was surprised by that. But he comes off genuine. And I think that's what the drawing factor was, and the factor that I was kind of like enthralled with this show and finished it in like 2 nights, is the fact that at least a lot of the actors, right, you see in an adaptation, sometimes you're like, this is just a money grab, this is just a job for them. And it might be just a job for them. I don't know them personally, can't ask them. If any of them see this video, hey, comment down below, let me know, I guess. But it'd be so funny. You see like the Netflix One Piece account, like, hey, that would be wild. But all the actors seem like they're having a good time. And I think that comes off in the screen. So those two, but the standout, and I am so happy. I am so happy that they focused on this story, Garp and Kobe. And especially if you kind of, I guess this might a little bit be a spoiler, but know where their relationship goes way later on. The idea of building up this relationship was awesome, was incredible. And Garp, the actor that plays Garp, that man is throwing back 3 porterhouses and some whiskey and doing a great job. Like that was the standout character for me in this show. He was amazing. He really brought Garp to the screen, in my opinion. And I think the idea of condensing this story and having kind of the Marines be the reason that they the through line, I guess you could say, through it, I think was a necessary thing to make it make sense to get this from episode 1 to episode 8 in a kind of cohesive thing. And it be more about the story of Luffy finding his crew members and Garp as his grandfather kind of testing him and seeing how much is he just playing pirate or does he want to be a pirate? And the culmination of that by the end of episode 8 is a really great payoff. And now I think that's done. Like I don't think we really see Garp and Kobe. I don't think they're going to make huge changes like that. And we're going to see them, a lot more in season 2 if it gets to season 2. And while I think it's going to be polarizing and people are going to love it and people are going to hate it. That's just the internet. That's just the world we live in. Hey, it's all respectable choices. We can all think what we want to think, right? What does it really matter? But for me, as like a One Piece fan, I think the one thing that I was looking for when I started up episode 1 was for them to get the heart right. And I kind of had a little bit of faith in that because we have heard, whether how true it is or whatever, but we have heard that Oda has kind of had his hand in it the whole way. So you would hope the studio would not get involved with Oda because Oda knows the heart of One Piece. He created One Piece. He is the heart of One Piece in a way, He's the Luffy. We're all the Straw Hats on the going merry on this grand adventure to the Grand Line of One Piece. Think about that. We're all part of the Straw Hats, what I'm saying. But I wanted the heart to be there because I think the story and the ideas that especially the early stuff of One Piece talks about, the idea of freedom, the idea of doing what you love, the idea of chasing your dream, while it might be a trope in a lot of anime and manga and things like that, I think One Piece is the reason that the longevity and the popularity has always stayed is because it nails that. It nails that feeling of watching these characters become the power of friendship and chase their dreams and go through all these things. That's the most important thing to me about One Piece. And they nail it. You believe that Luffy wants the best for his entire crew, and you believe the crew joins and becomes loyal to him because he is one of the first people in their lives to believe with them and to show them it's okay. Your dream might sound crazy to someone, but it's okay. And I love the Garp and the Zeph conversation about, who he reminds me of? Gold D. Roger. And that was really at the heart of this show, is we are placed in this world. And I think it really sells it. Man, I think it sells it so good. We are in this world. We are dropped into this world where it's kind of a garbage world, right? There's pirates. There's all this stuff. People are just trying to get by. And this straw hat boy comes along and kind of starts to set sail. And everyone he meets, every town he goes to, he kind of brings this happiness, this joy, if you will. I'm not going to spoil anything else, but he brings a lot of joy with him. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And to have that be the centerpiece of the story and the way they moved that to Garp having the realization that maybe it is Kobe's time. Maybe it is Monkey D. Luffy's time. Maybe it is their time. Maybe the old ways are moving or leaving and the new generation is coming in. And having all those story beats really hit me. And hey, listen, I'll be the first to admit this. I'm a One Piece fan, so like it's gonna be always hard for me to judge things critically. I'm not gonna judge things with this. I'm gonna judge it with this. You know what I mean? Or this. Where's your heart? No, it's here. It's here. I nailed it. Okay. I just make it sure. Yep. No, it's right there. And so I can't make a video or talk about it in a way that's critical. I just can't. It's not in me. I can't do it. Sorry. I apologize. But I know when I saw the Going Merry and them setting sails, it did something inside of me. I know when I saw the Nami stuff and he put the hat and the walk on Arlong Park, I know that, hey, boom. I know when I saw Sanji's backstory with Zeph. I do love that they kept it that that man ate his own leg. That's good. Instead of like what was it, like an anchor or something? So while it doesn't hit, all of the stuff, there's no way it could have. The stuff that it does recreate, it works so well. But again, I have the nostalgia glasses. I can't do nothing about that. I can't take these glasses off. I can't see if I take these glasses off. Plus, I feel like my face looks weird, to be honest. But I don't know, man. I feel like I can ramble and ramble and ramble on about the One Piece live action. It's probably not what you want to watch. Probably clicked off the video by now, so I'm sorry. But to kind of sum up my entire feelings, I am so happy that they did it to me. They did everything not 100% right, but they got what a lot of live action was missing. They got the heart of the series they were adapting. And while some think that's so simple to get, I think it's one of the hardest things to get. And I think that's why a lot of live actions fail, is because it feels like cosplay. It feels like a money grab. It feels like this, It feels like the actors are just, I don't know, I wanted a paycheck. But the heart of this series about being free, chasing your dreams, came through on the screen for me. And while it was never going to be perfect, I can't sit here and lie to you and say I didn't have a smile on my face a good amount of the time. And after living through years of horrible live action adaptations, I think it was just kind of refreshing to look on the screen and at least know that they tried. And whether it landed with you or not, that's a personal preference. But for me, by the end of episode 8, when they were all gathered around the barrel, I saw the Straw Hat Crew, and I'm so excited to see them in season 2.